Hi, my name is Caleb Howard and I work at PSP Gagetown. Today I'm going to be doing a flexibility mobility workout. They call it flexibility mobility fusion. So we're going to have some fun with that. Today, equipment you're going to need a foam roller and a lacrosse ball, and we're just going to be going through just a flow of different things at the beginning just to get warm, and then we're going to mobilize with the foam roller or lacrosse ball, and then we'll do some stretching after we mobilize. Awesome. Today I'm not going to be playing any music, but feel free to turn on tunes in the background, but I'm not going to be playing any music, okay? And then I'm going to read off this disclaimer, and then we'll get started with our mobility. Awesome. In response to COVID-19, PSP is offering telefitness to the Canadian Armed Forces members. By using social media platforms, the telefitness classes tailored to the Canadian Armed Forces personnel become accessible to all. Prior to participating in the session, and to make an informed decision on whether you should seek advice from a qualified exercise professional or healthcare provider, consult the Get Active questionnaire of the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and its reference documents. Simply by clicking the links below. So there's going to be 2 links posted below this video, and if you 2 links posted below this video. So just read through those. If you have any questions or err on the side of caution, that's totally fine. But if you choose to continue, by continuing with the telefitness class, you understand that there's a possibility of physical injury, and you agree to do so voluntarily and at your own risk. You assume the risk of injury and agree to release the Canadian Forces Morale and Welfare Services from any and all claims related to your participation in this telefitness class. So we're going to do some mobility today. So we're going to have some fun. So make sure that you have your foam roller or lacrosse ball, or you could even use a kid's ball. You could take just like an 8-inch, 10-inch diameter ball and use the same thing. It works. And tennis ball doesn't work as well as a lacrosse ball, but we use what we got. Or a golf ball. Golf ball does work as well. Okay. So I'm just going to move this. So we'll get started. Face to the side. Okay, so we're going to start on our backs. We do that old bracing position. So heels tucked in towards the glutes. We want a little space between our lower back and the floor, and we're going to pull our belly button in towards our spine. Woo! Pull our belly button in towards our spine and take a nice deep breath with still keeping that brace in our belly. Now we're going to lift through our hips while still keeping our brace through our belly, squeezing our bum together. But we're really focusing on our brace here. So we're under tension. We're thinking about that brace position. And we're just going to take a few breaths here. Okay, we're lowering the hips back down to the floor. We're just going to turn to the side. We're going to come up into a tabletop position. Okay, we're going to brace from here, but we're going to keep that same axis of our spine that we had on the floor. We're going to pull our belly button in towards our spine. We're going to brace. And we're not just thinking about bracing the front, we're thinking about the sides and the back. Okay, so we want all 4 sides of our column. We want to hold that tension while we breathe. We're really focusing on a breathing brace today. Okay, holding that tension. I want you to just find your toes in the back, and we're just going to slightly lift our knees off the floor, but keeping that tension through the belly. I can move my knees here, so no weight is on my knees. We're just gonna hang out. You can kind of rock the weight back to our heels and onto our hands. But we just don't want the knees to touch the floor there. Woo! Loosey-goosey. Nice. Let's prime those abdominals. Okay. Nice. Relaxing that down. Now we're going to do a cat-cow. So we're going to raise the back up, pressing the belly button up towards the ceiling, pulling our head in towards our chest. Then we're flattening up, bringing the head up. We're just going to alternate between those two positions. Okay, next we're going to do bird dog. So we're going to hover one hand and one leg off the floor, opposite arm, opposite leg, and we're going to extend those out. We want to keep our belly nice and tight. We don't want to rotate. Bring it back down, so no rotation through the spine here because we're trying to fight that rotation. Just getting everything primed and warm. Just hammering that one side. We don't want to shift. We want everything to stay in the same orientation. Except for the arm and the leg, of course. Awesome. But we want the torso to stay nice and flat and level. We don't want any uneven movement through the hips. So we're going to bring that hand and the leg back down, and we're going to switch sides. Hovering at the bottom, not touching. You guys are doing great. Amazing. Just getting warm, getting the body primed to do some mobility and flexibility. Nice. You guys are doing awesome. We'll hover, and we're coming back down to the floor in that tabletop position. So from here, we're going to do something called scap shrug. So we're going to bring our chest, with keeping our arms straight, down as close to the floor as we can. And then we're going to press back up to the shoulders. So I'll give you another angle on that. So I'm lowering through the shoulder, not bending my arms, and then pressing my shoulder out as far as it'll go. Lowering down. But notice how my elbow, it doesn't bend. So I'm just moving through the shoulder. It's called scap shrug. And I want to keep my shoulders down towards my bum while I'm doing this. I don't want them to raise up towards my ears. They're not friends, ear and shoulder. So you want to keep them as far apart as you can. So pulling the shoulders down and away, and then we're just lowering and then pressing up. Lowering and then pressing up. From that straight arm position, we're just going to roll back, elbows back and up. And some elbow presses. Just getting the wrist, the elbow primed. Now we're gonna move through the hips. So we're gonna lift one knee up. We're gonna lift that knee out to the side. Just like a fire hydrant, just like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. And then we're gonna lift the leg up, heel up towards the ceiling. We're still keeping that brace. And out to the side, leg up towards the ceiling. Out to the side, leg up towards the ceiling. So let's switch sides. On the other side, let's just do a different angle. Lift the knee, lifting out to the side, but we're not shifting through the pelvis. I'm keeping it in the same orientation, so we're just moving through the hip socket. Yeah, just moving through the hip socket. Pressing up and out to the side. Nice. Just getting those hips warmed up. Okay, now we're gonna go through a little bit of a flow, just to get us moving, a little bit more warmed up. So we're gonna get into a downward dog. Pressing through the hands, pressing the chest back towards the feet. Nice. And we're just gonna alternate heels here. Walking the dog. Gonna lift one leg into the sky. Just gonna hold that. We're gonna try to lift the other hand. Have a little fun there. Try to balance. Balance is kind of off today. We can switch sides. Three-legged dog. Maybe this side will be better. Nope. It's always good to have a little fun. Bring that leg down. We're going to come into a high plank position. And we're lowering down to the floor. We're just going to press up into a baby cobra. Nothing crazy. We don't want to wrench the back too hard, especially this early in the morning. Then we'll find our toes in the back. We're going to press back into a down dog. And we're just going to walk the feet slowly into the hands. Do a forward fold. We can always relax the head. We're going to come up. We're going to stand. We're going to bring our hands up to over our head. And we're just going to sit our bum down into a chair pose. Awesome, everyone. And hands down to the floor, stepping back, pressing back into a down dog. We're just breathing here. We're just going to move one foot up close towards our hand and back. The other foot up close towards the hand, back. Bring one hand back towards the opposite leg. And Slowly lowering down to our mat. Pressing up. Not do a full cobra, just with slightly bent arm. Squeeze your bum, protect your lower back. And lowering down. Finding our toes in the back. Pressing back into a down dog. Going to a three-legged dog again. Bring that knee to the same elbow. And pressing back up. That knee to our opposite elbow. Pressing back up. Now we'll switch feet. Knee to same elbow. Knee to opposite elbow. Back down. Then bring the body over the hands. Slowly lowering down. And coming up into a baby cobra, not fully extending in the elbow, just a light bend. Squeezing the bum so we protect the lower back. Keeping that active. And then lowering down, finding our toes, and then pushing back into a child's pose. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to get into our mobility portion. So we're going to start off with our spine, our upper back. I'm just going to check the time here. Wonderful. We're doing great. We got tons of time. Okay, so we're going to start off with the upper spine. So we need our foam roller. We're going to put this in about the center of our back. We don't want it too low because we'll deal with that later. It functions in a slightly different way. So we want just midway up the back. Boom. I'm just going to place my roller there. Yeah. So I'm going to have my feet on the floor. Hands overhead, and I'm just going to extend back and up, extend back and up. And I'm going to just hug myself and then roll back and forth on one point. We're just trying to mobilize individual segments. So we're going to roll up an inch and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to extend overhead and back. So if this feels a little weird, you can always put the shoulders on the floor. So you guys keep going. I'm just going to give other modifications. You can always put the shoulders on the floor. And the way we can control it a little bit more is drop through the hips. And drop through the hips. You'll have a little bit more control because you get your legs. So if it's a little uncomfortable, you can always moderate that way. Start the shoulders on the floor and the hips up. And then you can drop through the hips. You can roll from side to side, trying to bias anything that you want to. Okay, so that's another modification if you just need a little bit more control with it. You don't need the hands overhead. You can always have the hands here if that's a little uncomfortable, right? But we're just trying to get the spine moving. So we're going to roll back and forth again on this segment. And then extend. You can have the hands overhead. You don't need them. They just add a little bit more weight when you're going. Okay. And roll back and forth. Back and forth. Just rolling up another inch. We're going to extend. Back and forth. Going to roll up another inch. We should be about at the bottom of the rib cage. Oh, not the rib cage, the scapula or the shoulder blade right now. So that's where we're gonna, like that's our stopping point for this. So I'm just right there. I'm touching the bottom of my shoulder blades. Oh yeah, awesome. Rolling back and forth, trying to mobilize, extending, coming back. Wonderful. Now, so we just mobilized. So now we're gonna stretch it out. So we're gonna thread the needle. So we're gonna take one arm. We're going to bring it through the gap between our leg and our hand, and we're gonna lower that shoulder to the ground. So from here, we're gonna take this hand and we're gonna push the ground away. So this is a thoracic rotation stretch. We don't want to push too hard, but we're just trying to mobilize our thoracic to move in all the directions it should. Okay? So with stretching, we shouldn't be too uncomfortable. We should only be mildly uncomfortable. If we move past mildly uncomfortable, come on out of it and be more, just regress a little bit on the stretch, because it's going to be better for you in the long run. So we're going to stay here for about 60 seconds, pressing through this hand, away from the floor, pushing away. Awesome. So only mildly uncomfortable, nothing more. Just working on that rotation of the spine. Awesome. Okay, we're coming up. We're going to come back into our tabletop position. We're going to thread the needle again. We're going to take our hand on the opposite side, put it through. We're taking this hand and we're pushing away from the ground, trying to get that thoracic rotational stretch. But we want to think about being mildly uncomfortable. We don't want to be pushed past any major discomfort. We want to be mildly uncomfortable. We don't want any pain. So if you feel pain, get out of it, get back into it, and try to regress it a bit so you can get in the stretch and feel just mild discomfort, if anything. Awesome. So we're going to be here for about a minute. We've already been here for about 30. Got about 30 seconds left. You guys are doing great. Just pushing that floor away with the arm that's on top. Awesome. Come back up. Wonderful. Okay, what we're doing next is we're going to roll with the lower back. If you have a chair around, that's wonderful. If you don't, still works. Okay, so I'll show you what we're doing. I'm just going to pull this into view just over here so we can see. We have our lacrosse ball. So we're going to roll out our lower back. But we never want to put the lacrosse ball directly on our spine. So if you feel down the center of your back, you guys are smart people. You know where your spine is, right? So you feel that, you never want to roll on it. But what we're going to do, I'll show you. We're going to roll and feel your hip bone right in here. You want to roll just in between your hip bone and your spine. And yeah, you'll just find that you have a few things that you didn't know were there, right? Don't roll directly on the spine. Don't roll directly on your hip bone along this crest, because that's going to be really uncomfortable. and then we'll switch sides after about a minute, okay? So we're gonna get into that. So we're gonna, and if you have a chair, it works way better if you elevate your feet. Still works if you have your feet on the floor, but if you elevate your feet, you can have your legs up here, you can rest down. You take your ball, you put it right in between your spine. Ooh, yeah. You put it right in between your spine and your hip bone. And oh, you just kind of search, and you don't have to search far for something to rear its head here. Oh boy. Yeah. Nice. And if you find something gross, just sit on it, right? So we find that point, that trigger point, that twist, that muscle that's not functioning well, that's not sliding well, not moving, and what we're trying to do is just restore function to that. So what we do with the ball, we put it on the point. The point, we'll actively try to relax it, even though it feels painful, and it'll bring blood flow to the area. It'll increase sliding surface function, so it'll make the muscles be able to slide past each other instead of getting stuck. Right, so there's a lot of good things that we can do from these techniques, right? So if something's not functioning properly, we can work on it so that we can. It's just like basic maintenance on the body. Oh. We're going to spend a few seconds on this side, and then we're going to switch. Switch to the other side. Just working on the lower back. So the key to this is relaxing. We don't want to we don't want to be in excruciating pain. Yes, we want to be in discomfort. That means we're getting at something we should get at. But we don't want to be in excruciating pain because we don't want to tense up. So if you find you're holding your breath and go, breathing out really fast, and is squinting and squeezing your face, then we're not relaxed. We need to be relaxed for this to work. You know how when you're in a massage therapist's office, they have sometimes water flowing or music, and the room's set out so it's in a manner that's soothing, right? So you need to be relaxed for this tension to leave. So we just want to breathe, play some relaxing music, just kind of get into it, and find that point that just doesn't feel great, and just sit on it for a bit. But we have to stay relaxed for it to work. And it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but it really does work. Just you're in the pain, but you're above it. You're in the pain, but you're choosing to endure it, and it's good for a long-term gain. Just working on those pieces. So again, we're just in between the spine and the hip bone, and we're just trying to find anything that doesn't feel great. We're just trying to sit on anything that is giving us trouble. Okay. We spent enough time on both sides there. I'll put that back. Okay. So now we're going to stretch the lower back. We're going to bring one knee up towards the chest and bring it across the body.
So the goal here is to keep both shoulders on the floor. I have my knee on the ground. If I want to make this a little bit, well, this is like a fascial line stretch, so I'm stretching from my shoulder all the way down to my hip and through my foot. So if I straighten this leg, I kind of tie in the bottom part of my leg. If that's a little too much, you can always just bring that knee back in. And this is just a great one for your glute, lower back. We're moving to our glutes next to mobilize, and then we'll do another stretch for them. Everything's tied together. Thinking about keeping both shoulders on the floor. My shoulder's starting to drift up a bit. But if you still feel a stretch and it's mildly uncomfortable, that's good, right? And if it's up here for you, like if your tension's up there, then go for that. If it's a little lower, just kind of search for it. Because everybody gets tense in a slightly different way, right? Just going to hold this for a little longer. And if you're hanging here like this, your foot's off the floor, try to get something that you can put underneath it so that you can actually relax your leg. Okay, we're going to go 10 more seconds in this position. Feel free to stay longer if you need to, right? It's a nice one. Okay, I'm going to extend that leg. I'm just going to turn around so you guys can see. Bring that leg across the body. Stretch out the low back. And we're breathing. Make sure you have some nice soothing music going on, right? We're not doing anything too intense. We're just stretching out. I want to keep both shoulder blades on the floor. Yeah. And just take stock of your body. This side is tighter than my other. I can just feel it right now. The tension coming through. How far my knee is away from the floor. There's just some more issues in this leg that I have to take care of, right? Yeah, it's always good to take time for yourself. You know, just take a little time, do some maintenance on your body, and just have some time in your head, which is always good. Okay, we got about 10 seconds left in this position. And one. Awesome. We're going to find our lacrosse ball again, our tennis ball, our golf ball, whatever we're using today. We're going to find that again. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take that ball, we're going to put that right into the meat of the bum, and we're going to search around for anything, like we're going to be sitting, of course, I'm just showing you, and we're just going to be searching around for anything gross, disgusting, and awful. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. I'm going to show you one, then show you another. So I'm going to just put that right under the bum. You'll probably find something pretty quickly. The glutes get tight and tied up. We use them a lot. If you want to expose something called your piriformis, you can do this. Ooh. And I need to relax my face, right? You can expose some other musculature right here. Yeah, so we're just looking for something gross, disgusting, and awful to pick away at. Okay,
So if that is a little too intense, you can always just have the leg down. You can always find something. If you're just like this, right? So yeah, we're just going through the glutes. We're making sure that we're in the meat. We're not on a bone or anything, and we're just looking for something that doesn't feel quite right. So you just you get on that trigger point, and we just sit there. You can palpate a little bit. So what I mean by that is you can just move slightly back and forth, and all we're trying to do is just restore good sliding surface function. Restore, restore the muscle to a normal working order, because right now it's all tense and there's a little discrepancy. So I found a spot right here, so I'm just gonna sit on it, and I'm just breathing. I'm relaxing. I'm not tensing up. I'm mildly uncomfortable. Nothing more. Right. So that's what we're working on. Mildly uncomfortable. Nothing more. Loosening up the glutes. A lot of stuff comes through here, so there's a lot of different things we can work on. If you want to take the leg down now, we can look for a few other things. And we shouldn't have like sharp, lightning-y pain. It means we're on a nerve. There can be referral pain from it if you have a big knot, but it shouldn't be like like a lightning shot going through your body. Right, so if there's anything like that, get off of it. But yeah, if you're on trigger point, they can refer. I have this point that refers down to my knee sometimes. I just get on it and I'm like, whoa! Yeah. Wow. Okay, we're just going to spend another minute here. Not a minute. I mean, yeah, just a short time. Off that. We're just going to switch sides. I'm going to put that underneath our bum. We're going to bring our leg up to our knee. We're just going to try to expose. Ooh, yeah, this is the tighter side right here. We're just going to try to expose some of that musculature. If this is a little too intense, you can always bring the leg down. And just the goal is relaxing, right? And you're the only one inside your body right now, right? So you're the one that knows where you hurt or where you need work. Yeah. Nice. Ooh. Yeah. This intention there. Holy. Wow. It's always good to get into this stuff. There's tight spots that you don't even know. There's areas of tension that you don't even know that they're there, right? Oh. And if you get in a spot that feels a little bit more mildly uncomfortable, you can always try to breathe through it and just stay relaxed. Because as long as we keep our breathing rate at the same, then we're going to stay in that relaxed state. When our breathing rate changes, when our face tightens up, that means we're not, we're coming out of that homeostasis. Yeah. And into something else, into our fight or flight response. Stay with 30 seconds on the side, and then we're going to get into our glute stretches.
time again. Wonderful. Okay. So we're just gonna stretch out those glutes. We're just gonna take one foot, put it over the knee, bringing the knee in closer towards the chest and relaxing the head. Oh, this is wonderful. Just so great. Oh man. It's a couple different ways we can do this. If this feels a little too intense, you can always be on the back of the leg, or you can leave your leg on the floor if you're still feeling the stretch there. Okay, so you can take that in a couple different positions. So the key in stretching is to relax. We only want to be mildly uncomfortable. That's it. I'm going to stay here for about another 15 seconds. Okay, lowering that leg down. Then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to bring the elbow leg up. And we'll breathe in. I'm going to stay here for about 60 seconds. Try to stay relaxed. Again, if you want a few other options, you can always have your hands up inside of the lap, or you can have your foot on the floor if you feel the stretch there. So you get those 3 different options. There's a bunch of others, but those are the 3 I'm going to give you today. Grab it up on the leg. And remember to breathe. Nice. Just taking our time here. Almost there. 15 seconds left. Awesome. Relax there. Huh? Nice. Okay. Last thing, we're just going to do a little bit of a wrist stretch. Just to finish things off, we're going to take one hand. We're just going to extend through the elbow. We're going to press through. Yeah. Spend a bit of time on our hands today. I find we, like as a gym culture, we neglect our wrists a lot, neglect our forearms. You may not. I just find it's culture, and just to take care of your forearms a bit. It's always nice. And we'll switch sides, extending through the elbow. Let's grabbing onto the thingies. You can also do this on the floor. Just wonderful. Okay, so that's class for today. Thank you all for coming out. I hope you guys had a great time. We did some flow, got some movement in, and then we just took care of our spine and our glutes. So just that complex in there. And then next time we're going to do mobility. If I'm with you, we're going to be doing some quad work, hamstrings, and the lower leg. And that'll be fun too. Thank you all for coming out today. Oh, I hope you had a great time. And I will see you again next time. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for watching. We all appreciate it at PSC Gagetown. It's just really, really a privilege to be doing fitness for you guys. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.